Hi guys, it's Irit with another video, and this one is a tutorial, and I want to show you some fun things to do with the I-Zink that came in the add-on for the HipKit Club in November. And let's just get right onto it. So the first thing you can do is, with these fun applicators, you can draw shapes. You can of course also use a brush, but I am lazy and I don't like cleaning my brushes, and I find this tip is very convenient to do this. You do need to get a little bit the feel for how much pressure to apply to that, rubber thingy at the top, to release the ink and not just create a big mess. But I found it to be rather simple. So I just drew some hearts, and I cut up a piece of white cardstock, and into every square measures 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And I'm going to use a lot of these things to make a layout at the end of this video. But every technique that I'm doing here, you can use it just on a full 12 by 12 background or bigger pieces of pattern paper, and just take whatever ideas you like. So the next thing I'm doing is I am using a stencil, and this is my favorite things stencil that came with the October kits, and I am searching for something to apply the ink. I wanted to use that Tim Holtz Ranger blender thingy, but I couldn't find a clean sponge, so I just use like a makeup sponge, and yeah, this works great. This stencil in particular is a very, very delicate pattern with very small details. So the look I got was a little bit messy, but I'm pretty sure if I'd been a bit more careful or adhered the stencil better to the surface, it would have come out cleaner. But that's another way you can use these inks. They are quite, what's the word? I don't know the word in English, I think, but they're not very watery, so they're firmer, which helps keep the ink in place and not just and it just doesn't just smear everywhere. So another thing you can do with these inks is, when I have something like ink or paint or whatever, I immediately think of 3 things. 1 is mix it with mediums, 2 is stencils, and 3 is stamps. So those are the things that I like to play around when I have a new medium. So you can mix your inks with gel medium, you can mix it with gesso and create like a colored base for your page. You can mix it with texture paste or molding paste. The only thing here, I went with gel medium because it's clear, and I didn't want to change the color here too much. Especially with these inks, they are metallic, and that's like the pretty thing about them, and I didn't want to lose that quality. Now, gesso that I mentioned before, and also molding paste or texture paste, they also come in clear forms. So you could try that, but I think mostly people have white gesso and white texture paste or molding paste. So I would say try mixing it with gel medium, and if you want to use it on a stencil like I did, then you should use heavy gel medium, because it holds its shape better, so you will get a clearer thing. So the next thing I did is I created my own mist, and This is very easy to do with all kinds of liquid mediums like this. The actual application is very easy because you just drop a few drops in your bottle, and I'm using a mini mister here, and I'm creating my custom shade. So I'm mixing some of the blue, which is called topaz, and some of the silver to create my own shade. And I'm adding a little bit water because it's too again, the word that I don't have. Maybe I'll stop and check what it is. Okay, what I wanted to say is that it's thicker than like water consistency. The viscosity is higher. So viscosity, that's what I needed. So here you can see these the spray in action, and I'm using this cute star stencil, and you can use both sides of the stencil. So I'm creating kind of the positive image and then the negative image, and it looks really great. And because they are metallic, then even though I added some water, the final result has this nice like metallic sheen or shimmer to it. It looks very pretty. And I'm using again a stencil that we got in the October kits, the add-on kit, but you can make your own like patterns, I guess. I just had some punched butterflies, so I just put them on my paper and sprayed on that. So you can use your punches or cut out whatever shape you want and use your sprays like that. So here are those three little pieces, and the next thing I'm gonna do is just add some splatters, and this is kind of an unpredicted technique. Excuse me. And yeah, you gotta be careful with it. And I am using this thingy, blowy, airy thingy. I don't know what that thing is called. Mine is from Tim Holtz, and I think also I think Stampin' Up! Had some older product that looked like that. It blows air, and you can use it with markers, and yeah, you can do what I did also with a straw if you don't have that thing. So next thing to try is stamping. And I did try, I tried this before, which you see now on the screen, and this is kind of the yeah, what not to do, or this is not the best way to do this. So I am gonna show it to you because you get more of a watercolor look with this. What I did here is I put a drop of the ink on my craft sheet, and I added like one spray of water just to make it more liquid. And I think this would probably work better with like bigger stamps when you want a very, you know, watercolor free look. But my stamp here was this little camera from the Amy Tangerine, and it has like some little details in it. So what I would recommend, what worked better for me, is you actually don't need to add water. Even though the ink is thick, if you spread it nicely on your craft sheet with a palette knife, and then dip your stamp in it, you will get a nice image. Now, this is not the technique to try when you want super perfect results with very clear lines. This is really more for this painted type of look, so keep that in mind, just to avoid disappointment. And you know what I'm doing here, like trying all these things on these little pieces of paper, that's a really good way to try out new techniques, because I'm not doing it like directly on a background, and you know, if I mess it up, then I'll just grab another piece of paper. And I'm just adding some more of the ink, also using some packaging, which I love, love, love to do, and you get this lovely watercolor, very random look, which I like. So I am gonna try this again now with this flower stamp, and this will work much, much better. I am using now the like this blue turquoise ink, and you see you can also apply it like with a brush or something, but that just takes too long, right? So you see how I spread it here on my craft sheet. I didn't add water, and then I just dipped my stamp in it, and I just love the way this turned out, and I think this would look great just on a background, like a lot of these images, you know, whatever stamps you have, or like whether it's flowers or other shapes or whatever you want. So another thing I like to do with these inks, is to customize other stuff. So I used it on wood veneers, I used it on cork pieces, and you will see that there's like a close-up at the end of this video, but here I'm using it on a piece of tag. On a tag, it's a piece of paper, it's a tag, and it came with the, I want to say, the August kit. It had a package of tags from the Notes and Things collection, and that was one of them. And I am not a huge fan of dark craft. I like the light craft better. But in this case, it's very easy to customize it. So the first layer looked kind of blotchy, but after the second layer, it looked really, really pretty, like it was foiled or something. So what can we do next? These lovely inks are permanent once dry, so that means you can add watercolors, mists, or whatever you want on top of them, and they will stay put and not move and not smear. So I'm using my Peerless watercolors here, and because the I-Zinks are so thick, they will hold, like the water will not go beyond the lines here, because they are so thick. It's like it acts kind of like a barrier, and it keeps the watercolor within that shape that you drew. So that's fun. And I did it here only on a I did it here on a little piece of paper, but of course you can make like a full background with that. You can draw words or shapes or whatever you want. So here I'm just adding some like watercolor stains, I guess I would call it, using my Peerless watercolors and some packaging. I just really love how when you smear it with the packaging, it just looks very, like, I don't know, unintentional or like random. I really like that look. And yeah, because the ink is permanent, it's not gonna smear, so that's great. I'm sorry, but my voice is not cooperating with me. So on this little piece of paper, I created those triangles before using heavy gel medium mixed with the inks, and that is also permanent once dry, so you can add also watercolor on that and it will not move. So that's really nice. You know, you can start a background with some gel medium mixed with the inks, and that can act as a resist, and like when you add mists or watercolor on top of it. So the next thing I did was this type of like drippage type of look, and I really like how it looks. So you just add a thick line at the top of your paper and then, you know, like help it or let gravity take its course, and you can leave it alone for a cleaner look. Well, it's not really clean anyway, you do it here, but I just messed with it a little bit, and you know, to get more of a messy liquid fluid type of look. You know, you could use a few colors of inks, and that's a really fun look to try. So I just kept on playing, and I'm just making some circles with the silver ink, and I'm gonna paint them with watercolors as well, and then I just drew some lines with the pink ink. It was very hard not to use the pink ink, but I decided I'm gonna only use the blue and the silver on this layout, but I had to play a bit with the pink. Now I am using here white cardstock, but of course you could do these things on pattern paper. So for example, you could take a stripe pattern paper and just add like the pink ink, well, not the pink ink, you can add whichever ink you want to the stripes, or like where the colors change or something. So you know, you can really play around with it. And what do I do next? Oh yeah, so here is everything. I took the squares that I liked, and I just, well, I tried to adhere them more or less straight. That's why I don't really do grid layouts. I mean, I have done some in the last couple of months, but I try to avoid it because I don't like measuring things, and it does bother me if it's not straight, so I just try to avoid it. But here I measured a bit, I eyeballed a bit, and everything turned out okay, and I added some little bits and pieces from the November kits, like some silver stickers and some star rub-ons and a couple of little die cuts, or one die cut, and yeah, it was just really fun to play around with them. Here you can see how I painted that little cork house. I love how that turned out. I use a white pen to draw on it. So thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. Have a great day. Bye.